somewhere.
That hat. The Illidan ban we have seen quite a bit. If it's not a ban, it's a pick. I think we have actually maintained that so far with all our casted games, but it's going to be up to TTB now to figure out what they want to not face up against. Chen's, we've been seeing Uther's bans, one Rhaegar ban, and some Sergeant Hammers. So any of those are basically the big go-tos in my eyes.
Completely agree with you there, Sean. They're definitely taking their time with the ban. Usually the bans are pretty cut clear. Okay, it's actually a Malfurion ban. That is really interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, El Nexo prioritized Malfurion in the last match and had a great success with him. So TTP doesn't want to deal with that big, just big AoE, big sustain healer. His burst healing is negligible, but the amount of sustain he can get, especially once he gets Life Seed at 13, if he gets the improved regrowth at level 7, it's just, and he can put up such insane numbers if you don't have a bursty composition. Though with this Malfurion ban, that lends me to believe that TTP doesn't want to go with a bursty composition, because if that was the case, they could have done something like a Rhaegar or Uther ban. Maybe we're going to see a double warrior or a double healer composition coming out from him.
Well, there's the first pick, Sergeant Hammer. So once again, it will be Falcon maintaining that 100% pick there from El Nexo. But, it's really up to TTB now. They know that they're taking on a Hammer right off the bat. There's so many ways that you can deal with a Hammer, especially when you have all 5 picks available. You can really tailor your lineup to it. You can see Stitch's hooks pressure. You can see Zagara Mods. You can see Void Prisons. Stealth has a really good way of sometimes sneaking up on her, especially from bushes. But, and also what you could be doing is just trying to remove some of her more useful teammates rather than going for a counter. And splitting up the Vala pick is definitely a very good move from TTB.
Absolutely. Just such a strong hero, versatile hero. And there's the Zeratul pickup from TTB. So I won't be surprised if we see a Chen come out of them as well. Maybe even a Stitches, the good old Stitches Zeratul combination. You hook someone, you take him out of position away from their team, you void prison the rest of the team, and you take someone out of the fight. Again, that kind of divide and conquer or displace and blow up a nerd, as it also might be known as. But without Nexo picking up this Sergeant Hammer, it's I feel like they're going to get, not necessarily get real aggressive. That's one of the things with Sergeant Hammer when you pick him early. It kind of shows your cards that we're not going to go really hyper aggressive, because you can't necessarily go hyper aggressive with the Hammer. She doesn't lend well to that sort of strategy, but she does lend well to stand your ground strategies. We are here, you can't fight into us. So I'm going to expecting to see a big frontline warrior for El Nexo. That's something that really plays well with Sergeant Hammer. She needs someone to protect her. A hero like Diablo, ETC, or Stitches would definitely fill that role.
The Chen comes to mind whenever I say El Nexo, whenever I hear EU matches, like, oh, was there a Chen? Yep. There was a last pick Chen last time from El Nex. And if we want to talk about, again, some good ways to split out a Hammer from her comp, TTB would be looking to prioritize that as their warrior, or a Stitches, or a Diablo. I mean, you have a lot of ways to do it. Mirrodins used to be the bane of my existence when I was leveling up my Hammer way back in the day. So there are a lot of frontline options that you can deal with it. But in terms of what we do know about these teams, what we've seen before, I would not want to give a Hammer and a Chen the glory to that lane. So, will El Nexo actually prioritize that pick here? Something tells me no, but it should be in the back of their minds.
Absolutely. And speaking, being in the back of things, El Nexo's backline is looking monstrously powerful. The Sergeant Hammer, the Witch Doctor, followed up by the Uther. Now, that is their backline right there. That is a great foundation to build a draft upon. And once again, it's kind of your stand your ground. We're going to push into your base. We're going to slow siege. We're going to poke you out. If you want to dive us, go ahead. We're going to invite you into the backlines. Welcome to the party, where we're going to take you down. So it's interesting to see what TTB is going to do with it. They obviously have good displacement already in the Zeratul. I feel like El Nexo definitely has, this is a great opportunity for them to pick up a Chen. However, TTB has to be aware of that. They have to recognize that fact. They might pick up a Chen for themselves and deny it from El Nexo.
Well, with the Uther pickup there from El Nexo, I mean, we talked a little bit about displacement comps and, the disengage comps. I would definitely put Uther in a very strong support category in that, with the stuns, with the cleanses, with those shields. But TTB is saying it's going to be okay. We got a Diablo, and a Diablo, I have a strong penchant. It's going to be not only the lunar flares looking for Nazeebo, but as well perhaps even some apocalypses.
Absolutely, especially with Sergeant Hammer. If Sergeant Hammer is sieged up and isn't immediately getting unsieged the moment that Apocalypse shows up, even then, you still can get stunned up by that. So I really like that Diablo pickup specific to the Sergeant Hammer, a good tool to deal with it. It gives them that kind of dive into the backline that they need. It gives them great early game potential with a roaming combination of Tyrann and Diablo, and it gives them great presence just all the time. That threat of that combination, whether it's in the early game and during the laning phase, or whether it's more in the mid game where teams are rotating, getting bosses and getting objectives. So I really like that pickup. I'm a big fan of it. And also a good follow-up with a good Void Prison as well is going to be a Lunar Flare. So a lot of potential coming out from the Bakers.
Yeah, the Void Prison into the Apocalypse, into the Lunar Flare, strafe on the back of that. I mean, if everybody's already just messed up, you could get a lot of strafe damage off. Have we seen this? We have seen a strafe today once. We've also been seeing Rain of Vengeance, and a Rain of Vengeance to add to another. You just prolong a lot of that CC lockup. There's a lot of ways TTB can go with this one. They might also just completely skip Apocalypse and say the Void Prison is going to be enough and set up for a great Lightning Breath at the same time. The game of choices. Heroes of the Storm. It's absolutely wonderful what kind of ways that you can build, not necessarily what you will build.
Yeah.
Here in the beta. But there's the Chen that we've been talking about so much. Nexo absolutely loves their Chen. And last time we saw it was a double support lineup with that frontliner on top of Chen. I can't imagine we're going to see a triple assassin or a triple siege out of Nexo, and we don't.
Okay. So that is a great liner from Nexo. Very well-rounded. Their backline can put out so much sustained damage, has a good amount of range, good survivability. So just it's all about, like I said, kind of stand your ground tactics. A North American team that really tends to play these sort of strategies, not necessarily with double healers, but definitely kind of protect the hammer, protect the Jaina, is Evil Geniuses. And Evil Geniuses with their new lineup has been performing better than they've ever performed. So seen a little familiarity from that coming out of Nexo. And looking at what the Bakers need. Are they going to bake themselves a cake? I don't think so. I mean, really the only option, are they going to go with Tyrann as a support healer? Is it going to be another one of these pickoff compositions that really lends itself well to the double healer? Because as long as you line up everything accordingly, someone is going to go down. But at the same time, I feel like with the double healer, you have an Uther and a Rhaegar. That's an insane amount of burst healing. You have a cleanse on top of it. Real interesting to see what they're going to do here. Because really the only pickup, if they want to get a traditional healing support, is Lili or Brightwing.
So something to note is, again, just the difference in terms of the way that we draft back and forth. We haven't seen a lot of Nazeebo on the side of the pond, so it's great to see him back into the fights here. But no, there was no Tassadar on this map. Malfurion was the ban. We picked up an Uther quick. It's a last pick Rhaegar. Very different styles, but there's no Tassadar here today. And absolutely TTB needed some kind of consistent heals. You cannot just depend upon the Tyrande. She just does not bring the AoE that she needs to. Great healing ward, great support. The Owls with the map control, the Lunar Flares, the Starfalls are going to be pretty huge here as well on the back of a Void Prison. But it will be a Brightwing. So I have to guess at this point that it will be a bit more of a healing Brightwing, less a battle wing.
Agreed.
But there's your comps, guys. This is game 1, best of 3 going into Cursed Hollow. It's hard to call at this point. I mean, this match has been so hyped up in the chat that I don't want to give it away to either side.
Yeah, both of these teams these are very polarizing teams. One is a double healer composition with 2 very strong backliners with sustained damage with the Sergeant Hammer and the Witch Doctor. A lot of control as well with Uther stuns, and obviously Rhaegar and Chen get those snares at level 16 if they choose to do so. And at the other side of the coin is a big in-your-face composition. Zeratul blinking in there with Wormhole, throwing out some Singularity Spikes, blinking out before he gets picked off. Diablo can use Apocalypse or go with a Lightning Breath build where he Shadow Charge overpowers, pops the Lightning Breath, and goes, go ahead, try to kill me, because I'm just going to set all of you on fire. And the Brightwing brings a good mobility into play here. A little bit of CC. So CC for the Chen is definitely going to be something they're going to have to utilize in a very efficient manner, because once he is in that barrel, he's just going to be knocking you around.
Yeah, you can't actually polymorph the barrel.
Yeah, and another thing is there's a potential for cleanse on both of these teams. Brightwing can go cleanse here. It's generally it's between the cleanse or the gust of healing, which is a big burst of her combat trait that procs itself 4 times over about 4 seconds, which is a great AoE healing if you need to top off your team. Supplemental heals from the Tyrande as well. So I'm looking to see who's going to get the edge in this in the draft. I want to say the draft is a little bit of a wash. I want to say 50-50, maybe leaning a little bit more towards El Nexo just because this is their style. This is what they love to play. Maybe 60-40, but really I don't think any team came ahead in the draft. I feel it's all going to come down to gameplay, and it's all going to come down to how Bakers pull off the Diablo Tyron overpower Lunar Flare combination.
Oh, well, the draft aside, it's going to come down to the skill. I mean, we have so many tools available. I mean, just from your theories right there, you could go this, you could go this, you could go this. There's so many ways to play out this match. So one thing that El Nexo will have is bigger burst healing with the Uther and that Rhaegar. So if we do get Chen going into there with that barrel and he gets low, you bam, you pop him out. You got a shield ready to go, 2 shields actually with the protective and the earth. And then from there, it's pop off a heal, pop off the ancestral, he's back to full strength. What we don't have a lot of is the AoE healing here from El Nexo. I mean, we got the double healing ward. Sorry, only the 1 healing ward from both sides. But TTB does have the Brightwing, which in theory should just always be constantly AoE healing. As you said, could go to the Gust, could go into the Cleanse. The Cleanse doesn't feel like it's going to really be needed. The only big real CC there is from the Uther. And there's nobody that needs to really channel, I feel, here, except, of course, the Diablo, but he's unstoppable anyways with that lightning breath.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, every single one of these guys are readied up. They're asking for the goes.
I hope that was for the goes.
Casters are good.
We've been good for a bit. Yeah, we're just waiting on the players to hit the button so we can get this one rolling.
So we're going to see... I like the Zeratul, especially since Gathering Power has been nerfed. We see Zeratools pretty much foregoing Gathering Power as a whole, and instead of level 4, they get the Sustained Anomaly, and that's the ability where their Singularity Spike goes off no matter what. It does the AoE damage, obviously not the single target damage if it didn't hit anyone, but the AoE damage around it, and then that lends itself to Zeratul being a very strong late-game presence. He gets the double Singularity Spike at level 16. Level 20, he gets a Rewind. He can just kind of haphazardly throw 4 of those out in the middle of a team fight. They're gonna land. More than one of those is more likely to do a lot of damage, and they do a significant amount of AoE damage. So the numbers that Zeratul can put up, along obviously with the rest of his skill set, with cleave and just very strong right clicks, it's going to be interesting to see. The Zeratul's early game is pretty weak, so they definitely have to take that in consideration. His roam with someone else is going to be good. I definitely can see a Zeratul roaming around with Tyron, maybe going to the lane that Diablo is in and catching someone off guard. There's a lot of potential that they have for lane composition and roaming composition.
I've noticed, though, that more often than not, you won't see a roaming comp from any side that has a Sergeant Hammer, because now you risk leaving her alone. She can't roam nearly as effectively as well. So if we are going to see a roaming comp, it will very likely be from TTB. And that is a really good early game point to be considerate of. The Tyrandas have really lent themselves to a lot of roaming strats, at least here on the NS side of things. You talked about EG a little bit earlier, right? Tyranda with the Jaina can absolutely murder some of these lane comps as they keep going back and forth. You get a Uther in there, you get a Stitches in there. But today it could actually be the Tyrande with the Zeratul. I mean, that's stealth. You never know where he's going to be. But either way, we're loading in. Finally, the game has started. Cursed Hollow, game 1 of this best of 3. El Nexo and Team Tomorrow Big. Nerd shivers, man. Nerd chills. Oh,
I'm loving it, man. I have been wanting to cast these European teams, these high-caliber European teams, for such a long time, and I feel so fortunate having the distinct pleasure of doing so. Ladies and gentlemen, the match is loaded up. The game is going to be underway. Let's introduce these very well-known teams. On the left side of your map is going to be El Nexo Luciferon playing the Chen, and the mid lane is going to be Grand and playing the Rhaegar Fight Dog. Black Horror playing the Witch Doctor Nazebo Vortex on the Lumberjack Uther, and Falcon once again taking up the role of Sergeant Hammer.
So sorry about that, but yeah, Sergeant Hammer Master Skin, that is the best one right there, that black and red. Looking good, guys, looking good. So that's El Nexo. On the flip side, though, a team that is new to us but heavily requested. Ethernal, Breeze, Schwimpy, hopefully, Kill him or Sill him, hopefully kill him, and Splendor going to be making up Team Tomorrow Big. Hopefully they dream big here as well, because they got a heck of a game now going front way. So Splendor went all the way top, immediately used the phase shift to come bottom. Not entirely too sure what that was about, but here's a little bit more of the roaming that maybe we're thinking about, or they're going to be setting up for a party lane. Their only competition is going to be Luciferon on that Panda regardless.
Brightwing versus the lane right here that El Nexo has while Brightwing, yes, she will be able to soak efficiently, and she really more than likely won't get picked off as long as she doesn't get stunned by Hammer Justice to a zombie wall. But there's nothing she can do as far as negating the push factor down here in the bottom lane, and that can snowball out of hand. You can get an early level 4, early level 7, which then can turn into a second tribute advantage, and that's a big timing they're going to have to take into consideration. And there's the rotation coming from Team Tomorrow, and that's exactly what they needed to do right there. There's the overpower Shadow Charge, Lunar Flare off the mark. Vortex is going to be able to get away just fine.
Yeah, they actually chased Gran right out of the mid lane. They came down there. Thurno was able to get off the bomb combo as well. So the Fight Dog wasn't exactly in the best of positions, but he was able to outrun the mark, and he was able to get to his team, who is setting up for the party lane into this bottom lane. And wow, bigger rotations. The Thurno's not going to be joining the crew. He's left out the mid, and they're coming in for this kill on top of Falcon, but they are not going to go home with a kill, and they will retreat empty-handed. This will give a little bit more experience back into the pockets now of El Nexo, and that will put us actually now ahead as well.
Yeah, anytime you make a rotation like that, you get out of lane and try to get a kill, it's a risky maneuver, because if you don't get that kill, this is exactly what happens. You lose on experience, and generally it's not worth it in that situation. Though in the early game, experience can be made up easy, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The experience still fairly even, and level 4 talents are here for both sides of the team.
And let's take a quick look at the talents right now. Traditional Rhaegar coming out healing. Farsight, we see that a good bit. Protective Shield, Conjurer's Pursuit, very standard there for the Uther as well. The double Maelstrom, or well, the Maelstrom and the Advanced Artillery. And same icon, sure. So looks like pretty standard stuff across the way here for El Nexo. What is the Zeratul doing? He does have the Gathering Power after a Regen Master. That's why he's not roaming. That's why Eternal here is opting to be stuck here into the lane. Well, maybe stuck's the wrong word, but he's definitely opting to get some of those early orbs for his Regen Master to start stacking that up. It's not going to be a blink. It's not going to be the block, but it will be the regen. And past that, Ranger's Mark is going to be coming back out strong here for Tyrande.
So we're looking at more of a traditional Zeratul build that we saw prior to the Lost Vikings patch, prior to the Gathering Power build. It still enables his Singularity Spikes to do a huge amount of burst damage, and I feel like that's something that they really should be going with, just due to the nature of their composition. It's going to play into it well. Vortex is getting zoned out very well. The Lunar Flare is going to land, but unfortunately just about a half a second too late. Their first tribute going the way of El Nexo. They are behind a little bit on experience, though, and you get that level 7, and they should have plenty of time to get that level 7 before the next tribute spawns.
Well, we actually had Clairvoyance go down, or well, maybe the Farsight. Yeah, the Farsight go down. They found the Zeratul, but they're not going to try to contest. Instead, we are going to be nurturing out the Stone Bros, these giants, as they start laying into this bottom gate. And in terms of the gates, I have been looking up and down with Lucifron. Lucifron up top, up against Splendor. Oh, yeah. There's been nothing Splendor could have done. And Lucifron has been getting in here. He just drinks his troubles away while getting slammed by the turrets. They're out of ammo. In fact, the entire gate is now down. And I'm a little surprised we haven't roamed up to try to curb that kind of damage.
Yeah, Chen in tandem with the new Regen Master, which we see picked up all the time. I mean, the Regen Master, coupled with his shields from drinking the brew, he is so good in lane. Brightwing's lane presence is pretty good as well. It's hard to kill her, but she has no anti-push whatsoever, and that's what I talked about when they put her bottom lane. I actually feel like maybe putting her in the mid lane would be a little bit better of a position. The response from TTB, I don't know if they really have the draft to necessarily deal with this sort of push, and it's working out great for El Nexo. They have an experience advantage, and down goes Zeratul right there in the mid lane. So the first blood going the way of El Nexo, the second tribute spawning. This is a great timing for them.
So the tribute was bottom then, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah, Schwimpy looks like he actually picked that up. Because you said that as like spawning, it's already done. Or was it already time already? But Falcon is into this bottom lane, as we said. He is going to be a little bit more immobile. He does have, of course, the thrusters ready to go, and now the first aid with that level 7. 1 kill on the board in 5 minutes, but again, Lucifron, he's just being a boss in this top lane, and there's still no counter to him at all. So this is just going to be lending us now that half-level advantage. This will be the level 10s going the way of El Nexo much quicker, I feel. And they're not, yeah, I was going to say, we're looking at a little bit of a party bush. I was curious to see if we were going to try to stop out these bruisers, but you know, that's a little bit of a misplay from El Nexo, I think, losing out those bruisers.
A good rotation, a smart rotation coming out from Team World there. Falcon, he's going to be picked off. There is the rotation that they needed right there. The overpower into a Hunter's Mark Lunar Flare on top of the right click from a Vala, and that is going to even the odds. So now there is going to be a huge discrepancy from level 10. They're going to hit it just right behind that of El Nexo. And that's what I thought. We're going to see the Rain of Vengeance coming out, because that barrel from Chen on a strafe, the moment he sees a strafe, he is going to be licking his lips with that barrel, immediately interrupting him. I like the Rain of Vengeance choice on the ball.
Yeah, and again, like Lucifron has now bullied out the Brightwing. The top is out of ammo. We void out the Brightwing. He might actually have to use that barrel to get out of this sticky situation, but the CC comp was pretty real. He jumps to the tower, and that looks like it's going to be enough. He is now going to be in a good position here to run, but the tribute did spawn. It did go the way of El Nexo, and he's actually going to try to group up here with his team. We don't have Nazebo. Nazebo's actually into the bottom lane. Looks like he's ravenousing, spiriting something. The creep waves at any rate. Did Killam go for the rain? Yeah, Killam went for the rain. So they had a bit of a duel while we saw all that up top, but nobody comes out ahead except El Nexo, again, did get that tribute. So they're going to be looking at a possible curse.
Looks like some friendly banter between these two heroes. The mouse from the Vala player went out, and Blackcore thought he could get a kill with the Ravenous Spirit. Wasn't the case. Maybe there's some next level mind games. Oh no, I'm out. The good old tactic of my mouse is broken, try to kill me. Just kidding.
The fake out.
Yeah, the fake out right there from the Vala. But 2 heroics exchange for no one going down. So even exchange, no matter what you look at them. Speaking of things being even, this experience is damn near even. This tribute right here, if El Nexo get it, is going to get themselves a curse. And this tribute is going to, whoever ends up this team fight, taking this team fight, is definitely going to have a big opportunity to pick up the Golem.
Yeah, and both of the bottom laners have now actually started transitioning up. No, Valasan not going to do it. Doesn't have the hit points, doesn't have the confidence, did not want to get ganked by the jungle. And she's really going to come out late to this one. But so far, Lucifron, he's still pushing ahead. Vortex is there. They have stopped out so far all the tribute shots successfully. We see the blink heal here for the Brightwing now as well. This has got to be frustrating for TTB. They can get it. Nope, they can't. They can get it. Nope, they can't. Lucifron is keeping up with that vision. He keeps those shields now chugging out very safely. And nobody's going to get this. Nobody's in lanes. That's a lie. Black Scorp is in lane. Now we got Splendor up top. There goes the Fort, by the way. And that's going to put us at 13. A little bit edging out TTB.
They're going to have it for a very small period of time, that talent advantage. And just a lot of poking. Neither of these teams want to commit. Both these teams have the tools to initiate when they want to, though neither of them see a good opportunity to do so. And my lord, you talk about just a standoffish shot right now. Look at these guys. They're just like a little gentleman's agreement. No man's land. And actually, oh no, a little bit of a misplay. They initiated too slow. That's going to be a curse, though. Finally, the initiation coming out. There's the Apocalypse. It's going to land on Lucifron, but completely negated. No follow-up. Sit on top of a Starfall, followed by the Rain of Vengeance. Lucifron is taking this up. Barrel is still being utilized. And there it is, the barrel on top of a Void Prison. Divide and conquer once again, showing its strength right there. But Uther is down. That's a support healer. One of the two is down for El Nexo. They still got a healer, but I don't know if they have enough to take this team fight right now. It's definitely looking like TTB can turn this around. That's exactly what they're going to do. A beautiful 2-man flare. Black Corpse getting 100's mark. He's going to get taken out by the chase of the Zeratul. A dunk onto Falcon. Does he have his boosters? He does. He's doing a good job, double body blocking him. And that's going to be a 4-for-0 exchange going the way of TTB. Team Tomorrow Big is looking big indeed.
Now, it is worth noting that El Nexo did get a curse on the back of all that. They did lose out the team fight very heavily. A 4-for-0 is nothing. 5-for-0, wow, is nothing to scoff at, but they are cursed. They are lost out. Not only the mid, but as well the bottom forts. These creep waves, this is a massive bottom lane creep wave. Look at this. And if they're no, he's just thinking, all right, well, gotta back off a bit on that one. All the forts are gone. That has still actually not put us in an experience advantage for El Nexo, because nobody was on the board to soak up the 1-hit point minion experiences, because there's nobody in the lanes. They've now really just kind of reduced down to getting out their big boss and try to soak as much as they can, because they've lost that lead and they've lost the momentum of this map. They don't face a curse on the next tribute, but I mean, TTB has got to be feeling real good about that last engagement.
Absolutely, man. They're in a great position. Going to be hitting level 16, and level 16 is a real important talent for them to hit, because that's going to enable their Zeratul to fully come online and get those big talents that he needs, level 13 and level 16, with the Wormhole, with the Singularity Spike. Looking at the Zeratul, he's up to 4 Gathering Power stacks, so those Singularity Spikes are going to be hitting hard, and now he's going to have 2 of them at his disposal. So the Sergeant Hammer really has to be careful, and El Nexo has to be very smart about their burst healing. They don't want to get their Ancestral Healing baited out too early, but at the same time, if they don't use it quick enough, someone can get taken down in the blink of an eye.
So the bottom boss here from El Nexo didn't even really get to the gate. It took out half a hit point of the gate, sorry. The top gate, however, is down. The top fort is down to half from the boss from TTB. So they did win out a little bit more of that exchange. They did hit 16 already as well. As you said, double bombs, blood for bloods, the shooting star and the lunar blaze. It's the full... I don't really want to call it the new build from Tyrande, but we have been seeing it a heck of a lot more here and here. But Lucifron, wow, he's saying, all right, we can actually catch Breeze here. And he went full barrel, but was that enough?
He does have enough souls to resurrect if he goes down here. There's the Apocalypse. He is a good two-man Divine Storm. There's just not enough Fall of Vortex is going to go down. Still, no Ancestral being utilized because a beautiful Void Prison in the north took Sergeant Hammer and Rhaegar completely out of the fight. So well done by their Lucifron. Got a little overzealous. And unfortunately, when you get a little overzealous, the Zeratul is going to pick you off right there. And once again, a great team fight going the way of Team Tomorrow Big. This is finally going to allow them to get some pressure on the map. As all of the forts are up, most of the Tier 1 towers, they're going to get this Tier 1 fort. More than likely sweep down here, get themselves a second tribute, and put themselves in a great position. They are definitely well on their way to getting a level 20 advantage.
And that's, yeah, that second tribute is going to be even more pressure now on El Nexo. They absolutely cannot lose out any picks, any engages, because the next tribute, they're going to be looking at a curse. And a curse this late at 12 minutes in for a first curse. I mean, we're already starting to clean up some of these forts. So if we can start pressuring keeps on the back of some of these curses, that could really lead us into a nice endgame scenario here for TTB. I'm looking at some of the damage, some of the healing, and, you know, like I said, the Brightwing, that AoE, she really does bring it compared to the Uther, compared to the Rhaegar. 32,000 healing and counting. She, by herself, is actually just absolutely destroying the healing numbers there from El Nexo. And on the back of that, we also have a Tyrande. Tyrande is just doing much needed healing as well. So a lot of healing coming out from the comp from TTB. Their numbers are looking very impressive. They got 8 kills to 1, and they're really starting to put this game into their favor.
You can hurry.
The second to last team fight, the initiation from El Nexo, it was pretty good. They got themselves a kill, but unfortunately the turnaround is really what brought them down right there at the tribute, where TTB got the tribute and El Nexo got the tribute and TTB got the boss and the exchange in the team fight. That's the most recent team fight. Lucifron, like I said, was just a little bit too overeager to use the barrel, and that forced poor positioning out of El Nexo because they felt obligated to get to Lucifron as quickly as possible. Positioning was foregone, and that allowed for a two-man Void Prison, which is what made that team fight go their way. Lucifron getting caught out. There's a polymorph into a Lunar Flare. He's at about half HP. Ravenous Spirit in the backline. Good position for Blackheart, but the immediate Apocalypse is going to counter out another beautiful two-man Void Prison. It looks like it actually got canceled. Oh no, a little bit of overlap of cooldowns. This could be the moment that El Nexo is looking for here. No one is down yet, but Breeze, it looks like the wind is not on his back. He's very low, as well as the Zeratul. Everyone's so very low on the side of him. No one is going down quite yet. They need to secure a kill here. Lucifron is going to get in there and finally get a kill onto the Tyron as well. Diablo still has enough souls to resurrect, so if he does go down, he'll be back in the fight sooner rather than later. It looks like this is just going to be a 1-for-0 exchange favoring El Nexo. El Nexo is on the chase.
Yeah, they are, and that bite butt build from the Rhaegar is going to be coming in big. Breeze, as you said, has the soul, so it's not going to be too bad if he does go down, but they will trade out for the Uther. The Uther with the Ghost, the 5-second resurrect. It's still not the end of this fight, I feel. The tribute was not taken on the back of all this. I mean, it was a big statement from the teams that said we need to make sure that we get these kills. Eternal is going to jump. He's looking for the kill on top of Black's Corp. I don't think we actually have anything in the bank to stop this. Gran is going to grab it. And in fact, I think, yeah, we're going to lose out that Valor. That was even worse because now Brightwing is, oh no, Brightwing is there. Okay, cool. Thought she was back in base, but Eternal's now going to be the big trouble because the far side has his number. And as you said, this could be it. El Nexo bring it back. That brings them to 18 from 16. They get themselves a tribute, multiple kills. They're going for a boss. And Shane, I gotta say, I mean, I am super impressed with the Uther play so far because in 2 separate team fights with Apocalypse casted, he has cleansed out the Ravenous in 4 times.
That's just absolutely such good play out of that. El Nexo, I'm sorry, I felt like TTB just overextended there. They felt obligated to go get the tribute. They're like, yeah, if we get this tribute, we get a curse. but they threw away a big advantage that they had with it. They're still ahead on experience. They definitely have momentum in their favor, as during that whole entire exchange, mid lane was pushed out, and actually the bruiser camp they picked up got themselves those tier 2 towers, which is going to open up this keep in mid lane to be taken down. But definitely an overextension there. They got really, really greedy. They should have given up that tribute. I'm going to let's lick our wounds, heal up, we'll forego the tribute, and put pressure on the map through other means, wait for the next tribute and hit level 20. That wasn't their ideology, and they actually, unfortunately, just fed some kills due to it.
I mean, tunnel visioning on top of objective overall is never a good thing, but I think that, they smelled the blood in the water. They thought that they were able to take out the fight, and the last 2 team fights had gone their way. So a little bit of perhaps overconfidence coming into that, and, El Nexo, they played it cool, they played it calm, they chased out, they retreated to the right amounts, and with their comp, they were able to bring it back. So we are now tied up for the tributes. Another boss is going to be marching the way of TTB, and the timing here is almost perfect from El Nexo, because the one boss top had to get cleaned up. That led us into the second, got us the second tribute. If they go and pick up their easies, I mean, by the end of it, we should see the next tribute spawning, and if it's on their side of the map, this is a bad spot for TTB.
Absolutely. Now, the only thing TTB wants to hope is that next tribute spawns as soon as humanly possible. As El Nexo is still considerably off of level 20, they still have half a level 19 to go, which is a big amount of experience that needs to be soaked up here. And there is the tribute. So El Nexo, if they do get level 20, it's a very, very narrow window of opportunity that they have in order to get this level 20. It looks like, they're going to forfeit it, though, as they are all sweeping up to the north lane. They know they aren't going to get level 20 in time. They're going to allow TTB to get themselves not only a curse, but just a big advantage in the lane pressure, because all the lanes are pushed out right now on the map. Bottom lane is pushing into their base. Top lane was pushing into their base, especially with those siege ogres. And this is really going to create some equilibrium on the map for these lanes, so that TTB can get on the map, make some good rotations, find a good void prison, and pick off El Nexo.
So El Nexo gave it up. They went for the gank on top of the right wing. Nothing came of it, but they did get a sprint. They got a sprint and a shield, but that was more or less all that they were going to be guaranteed. I mean, they had no frontline stuns on a horse ready to chase down the right wing. They're giving up a fort, and I don't actually think they're going to lose anything else out of this one. I think they evaluated and they said, what are we going to lose? We can defend, and while we defend, we're going to get level 20, because that's just the nature of how the creep's going to push in. They might lose some keeps, or they might lose some gates, but I don't think they're going to lose a keep here. And then on the back of all this, even if they lose the team fight, they have 2 tributes in the bank. This is actually a really smart call from El Nexo. Like, we're not going to lose anything here, and we're still going to have tribute pressure when we finally team fight at 20. That's really something you don't see a lot of in solo queue.
Yeah, very just great game sense, the way to put that. And it's kind of a rubber band effect, where it's like, okay, we're going to bend a little bit, we're going to bend a little bit, but once we hit that breaking point, we're just going to snap right back on you. And that could just be the end of the game, as we're now hitting almost the 19-minute mark. We're at the stage of the game where respawn timers are upwards of a minute, and any one-sided team fight can just spell the end of the game, especially with bases being opened up on both sides of the map. All the tier 2 towers are down. The top lane, the bottom lane are real injured for TTB. So this is still anyone's game. Absolutely still anyone's game. A lot of posturing around the map. All the mercenary camps are taken, so these teams are just kind of holding their ground, holding their position. TTB is putting the pressure on to El Nexo, and El Nexo is responding accordingly.
The double bombs on top of the fountain. Death to fountains, as Eternal is trying to make that statement. I mean, so far the defense has held. We've lost out gates. There's no real keep pressure. We got some of these stone bros now throwing their stones into the bottom lane, but again, there is a gate there to stop them. We might have a little bit of a party bush coming out here from TTB. It's TTB's map, but the problem is that there's really not much for them to take at this point. We got a top boss at 33 seconds, the bottom at a minute and a half. The bruisers are about to spawn in, and well, immediately we have the Farsight go down. So this actually might be the key here for El Nexo. They know what's going on. They know the positioning. Are they going to go for the engagement?
Luciferon has that barrel. They gotta keep an eye for initiation. Looks like they're gonna just give them the bruiser camp. Let's not fight into that. And it felt like it was a good opportunity to do so, and I definitely agree with that decision. It's a big choke point. It's gonna bottleneck them to group up together. Don't have much of a choice with narrow pathways like that, and that lends well to Zeratul. He gets a 2-man void prison like what he's been doing, and that can just be the end of the game. Both of these teams rotating up towards the boss. I'm sorry, actually. El Nexo is just going to rotate towards the ogres, but Are they going to make an aggressive rotation towards the boss and try to pull someone off there? Or are they going to wait for the next tribute? Are they going to be patient and go, you know what, you can take your side of the map objectives, take the tribute? Nope. Okay, looks like both these teams are having some mind games as El Nexo shows on the map knowing that TTB was going to see it, and TTB is already setting themselves up. Eternal is waiting for them to get into a bad position for a Void Prison.
I mean, there's so many spots here, so many, like, just linchpins, these corkscrews. There's so many places that a great Void Prison could just end the game. Neither team is really willing to commit. They're poking, they're looking, Farsights, Owls. We're poking out with the lava strikes. We're throwing out fire waves. Both teams are super hesitant to get this fight going.
This is a big one because whoever gets this tribute essentially gets the boss, and if El Nexo gets the tribute, they're going to get themselves a curse and a boss. There's a one-man Void Prison followed by the Apocalypse onto the Sergeant Hammer. The immediate and stressful healing is going to negate all of that. Great initiation. A big Divine Hurricane. Splendor is looking so low. When he's down, he is going to go. Though the turnaround looks like there is going to be no turnaround. Falcon is low, but unfortunately the sustain just simply isn't there. The Brightwing can put up some numbers, but unfortunately not enough. This is going to be a 2-for-0 exchange going the way of El Nexo. It's looking pretty good for him, though they have to make sure they don't get turned around on right now. That could spell disaster.
Yeah, there goes Grand, but it's going to be the Vala as well. Here comes the Wormhole, and Eternal does not have that rewind ready to go. Lucifron has his number, and I don't think he's going to be getting away from the Leaping Panda at this point. Bam, there he goes. That last shot. Schwimpy now is going to be on the retreat, but she has no movement speed here, and she is going to try to go for that hit. That Lunar Blaze is almost enough to take down the Sergeant Hammer, so it will be a 5-for-1 by the end of it all. Here is the tribute. The pressure is still there because they had 2 in the bank, and this could be the GG right here. We got the Stone Bows throwing down on top. That's going to be a keep, and we're saying we don't even need a boss. We can just go for the kill, and I think the game 1 is now going to be very solidly in El Nexo's hand, as this curse is just going to be doing numbers upon the defense.
Yeah, well played by El Nexo. They bent, but they did not break. You bend that rubber band enough, and it's going to snap right back at you. That's exactly what happened. The late game plays, the late game's decision making coming out of El Nexo was just superior. Their positioning was great. They outmaneuvered TTB and ended up winning this match. And a very even match throughout the course of it. Though they have to be careful, though. Luther going down, and now, oh my, Sergeant Hammer going down. The core's at 1%, though. It is going to go down. There was a desperation defense coming out of TTB. Looked like it was looking okay, but the damage has been done. Game 1 going the way to El Nexo.